Good evening and welcome to NJ4S Union's June monthly live webinar. This evening we are here with prevention consultant Jennifer Destra to discuss The Body Remembers, understanding trauma, stress, and healing. Just a little bit about Jen before we get started. Jennifer Destra is a prevention consultant at NJ4S Union, but her path to the mental health field wasn't always the plan. With a background in finance and professional sales, she made the switch after realizing how much mental health impacts every part of life, especially in communities where it is often overlooked. Now, as a master's student in school and clinical mental health counseling, she's dedicated to breaking cultural stigmas, making resources more accessible, and creating safe spaces for people from marginalized backgrounds to heal and grow. Outside of work, Jennifer creates content on holistic healing, self discovery, and embracing authenticity. She's all about exploring new places, trying new things, soaking in scenic views, spending quality time with loved ones, and of course, enjoying good food. I'm going to now turn it over to Jen for her presentation. Jen?
Thank you so much. All right. Hi everyone. Welcome to the webinar. I'm really excited for this topic. I feel like it goes hand in hand with just like the state of the world right now, and just also like being aware of what's going on, not only with our bodies, but how it affects our mental health as well too. So this presentation is called The Body Remembers and Understanding Trauma, Stress, and Healing. So, just a quick check in, just one word to describe how you're arriving today. So, as you are transitioning maybe from work or from school, or maybe you had to do groceries or just a long day, whatever is going on, you took the time to step away from this past thing that you were doing and now stepping into this new space. So, just one word to describe how you're arriving in this space. For me, I want to say maybe I'm a bit expectant. Um, well, one, I know that I'm doing this with you guys, but just also like I am seeing how like this work is very impactful, and just also like coming into this, like there's a lot of things that I foresee going on because I'm expecting it to happen. So that's just me. But feel free to drop in the chat box if you're feeling very hopeful, if you're arriving and you're feeling overwhelmed because maybe you had a long day or drained. Just one word, checking in. So tell me, what comes to mind when you hear the word trauma? So when we talk about trauma all the time, you see trauma in the news, you see trauma when we talk about mental health, you see trauma when we hear about the doctors, or now when people go to therapy. But what exactly is trauma? I know for me, when I think of the word trauma, I think of like, and I think this is how the world wired us to be, like to just think about trauma as something like so big and grand and like this horrible event that like really does something to you, that really change how you see the whole world. And that does, like, that can happen. It can be something super tragic, but sometimes when we talk about trauma, it may not be as big as an event as like a fire or extreme car accident. It could be something that had just happened to you or something you experienced. So we're going to talk about the big T and little T when it comes to trauma, because we've all had our own unique experiences growing up and just living life and being exposed to different things, and these things have really shaped our worldview. And so when we're thinking about trauma today and we're going to how it affects the body, think about the experiences that you've had that affects you today. So going into the exact definition. So trauma, the key idea the key idea is it isn't always about the event. It's about how those experiences affect our sense of safety and ability to cope. So one of the body's natural responses is to try to always find a sense of safety. That's why we find ourselves in relationships and communities. That's why we try to eat, like we take care of our body. Like our body is always trying to find ways to feel that sense of safety. Even when a baby comes out, like they gravitate to the womb, they gravitate to their mom, they gravitate to that sense of safetyness. So when life is like around them and they're being exposed to the world, they want to go back to that like calm state. But it also affects our ability to cope as well too, like how we bounce back and how we deal with things that happen. So sometimes when we think about trauma, naturally we think about the event, but also it's not about just what happens in the event, it's how we recover from the event. So trauma looks different for different people. People have different experiences. What may seem traumatic for me may not seem as traumatic for you, but we're not going to minimize anybody's experience here. There's also acute versus chronic stress that we're going to talk about a little bit. Something that happened like briefly, maybe it's like, oh my gosh, like I'm right in front of the register and I realize like I don't have my card with me. Maybe I left it in the car. That would be considered acute stress. But chronic stress could be something ongoing. Like this is weighing on you. You're going to sleep, you're waking up, you're thinking about it. And then also experiences can impact people differently. So a question that I have, and you can go ahead and put this in the chat box or in the comment box as well, is what do people misunderstand about trauma? So I think this goes hand in hand with what I was saying before, but like people think that trauma has to be like as serious to the person, but or they think it has to be as serious as like something tragic all the time. But I feel like people misunderstand that trauma can be anything that you have experienced that affect your sense of safety. So whether it could be a breakup, whether it could be trust being violated, whether it was like you can have, so people even have food trauma. Like I remember for the longest, this is a side note, but growing up, I had bought like from the catalogs that they were selling in elementary school, this cheesecake my aunt was trying to sell. Bought the cheesecake, entire house had food poisoning. I kid you not, I had not ate cheesecake ever since until maybe like 2 years ago. Tried Cheesecake Factory and now we back in the cheesecake motion. But food trauma for cheesecake was a real thing in my life. So let's not, minimize people's experiences. So we're talking about trauma and it's about the experiences and what happens, but trauma lives in the body. Like it's not just about what happened to you, it's how it lingers in there. So your body may remember that trauma through tension, when it comes up or something reminds you of something or something triggers you. You may feel tense. You may feel like, oh, like I'm never at ease. You may feel very exhausted, like as you're thinking about these things or you're reminding of a situation. You may get tired, brain fog, like maybe not remembering what's going on. You're trying to like space out. You may have difficulty sleeping. You may have stomach issues as well. So it may not affect just your ability to focus, but like your digestive tract can play a role into it as well too. It may also affect your ability to overthink, like especially if someone went through a traumatic experience where like it had to do with something with communication or a relationship. Now to try to prevent that from happening or having that sense of safety being breached or broken in a relationship, now it makes you overthink other responses. This could also lead to also zoning out all the time and just feeling numb. Some people actually like to avoid going through the emotions and experiences of a traumatic experience, they kind of just like zone out. They just kind of like feel numb, like try not to feel it all. And that's actually your body trying to protect itself, trying to find that form of sense of safety from experiencing that again. So a question is, have you ever felt stress physically and where? For me, like when I'm stressed, I get tired. Like, do not like, I can't even explain it to you. Like, I get stressed. I'm having a hard conversation. I'm getting very overwhelmed. The nap is calling me 5 seconds later. And like, sometimes it affects like even my eyes being the ability to focus. Sometimes it affects me like in my stomach. I may have like, um, bloating and just like extra tension in my body. It makes me also have brain fog. So like stress can actually live in the body and weigh on how your body functions as well too. So keep that in mind as we keep going. So meet your nervous system. Your nervous system, like I said, how in the beginning, your body finds a way to try to constantly regulate itself and find this sense of safety. That is what your nervous system does. It literally tries to find the balance between what is going on and how can my body recover. When you're in the green zone, your body feels safe, you feel connected, your nervous system is regulated. This is called your parasympathetic. So right here, you're more calm, your muscles are relaxed, your body's at ease, you feel safe. Maybe you're using those positive coping strategies, you're breathing, you're rested, like life feels good. When you're at yellow and your nervous system is active, it's like, okay, something is going on. I don't feel right. Like I feel something going on. Maybe your heart starts beating, you're at alert, you're starting to feel stressed, you're starting to feel that overwhelm. But when you're in red, that is your nervous system being like overactive. This is past sympathetic. This is now that chronic stress that we're talking about. And now we're in survival mode. Like your body has not recovered and found that sense of safety. So, my reflection question to think about is, where do you feel like you've been living lately? Like, I know sometimes when some people are going through difficult things, or maybe people are not aware, you might just find that you're in survival mode, but maybe you find yourself like not trusting people, not afraid to have conversation, always on ease. Always on edge, always feeling like you got to watch your back. That might be a sign that you might be in survival mode. So just take that time to, you know, realize like where you're at. Some reactions that you may have is fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. So fight is when you have like you just feel like you're super angry, and these are all protective measures, but reactions to stress. Something happens, you're irritated. You're trying to have that control. You're trying to make sure you're on a defense mode. You're like angry. You like barking back at people. You snapping back at people because it's like you don't want people to get you to expose that trauma you're going through or that experience, that negative experience you have. The flight, sometimes that may look like running away, you don't want to deal with what's stressing you out. Um, Maybe you're just like trying to avoid the problems, and it's okay to walk away from some situations, but when you find yourself constantly trying to stay busy so you could avoid what's stressing you, you have this idea of perfectionism, like thinking that like okay, everything has to be a certain way, or like you're trying to like work towards these things so that you don't have to deal. All of these are like avoidance things. You find yourself overworking. You're in that flight mode. Like you're not trying to deal with what is actually stressing you. And that could actually blow up into a fight if we're not being careful. There's also the freeze. Some people, when their nervous system is overactive and they're overwhelmed, they start to procrastinate. They start to shut down. That's their body telling themselves, like, hey, like I'm very overwhelmed and I don't know what to do. So, because I don't know what to do and I don't know if I want to run away, I don't know if I want to get angry, maybe I just shut down. Maybe I just like fall asleep like me. Um, and then maybe you could fawn, maybe to avoid like having to go through conflict, having to go through what's bothering you. You may find yourself people pleasing, difficulty saying no so you can avoid the conflict. You can avoid the situation at hand. Maybe they're telling you some negative news and you're like, "No, like how can we get back to that?" So, like, be aware of these reactions because it actually plays like all of these. They're, I'm not saying they're horrible, but like when you're doing it and you're avoiding what is actually stressing you or the experience that constantly is reoccurring in your mind, it may not work out in the end. Like, yeah, you have to deal with what's going on. So the question is, what response do you naturally gravitate? For me, I'm between like freeze or fawn, or flight, honestly. I rarely get angry, but I know that I do try to like control situations at time. But sometimes it may be different for a different situation. So it's very important to be aware of these things. So just a body check-in. I just want everybody to just take the time because, when we're talking about stress, when we're talking about trauma, when we're talking about things that could be weighing on our mind, our body may actually, in realizing that we are going through some trauma, may feel like our body starts tensing up. So I want to do a little activity. Like I want everybody to notice their jaw, notice what that's like right now. Is it tense? Is it tight? Notice your shoulders. Are your shoulders like up high? If you want to lower them down a little bit. Notice your chest. Is your chest like raised and high? Is it caved in, trying to like protect yourself? Is it like sitting upright? Maybe you want to like move around. Is your stomach feeling bloated? Is it feeling you know, like maybe your pants is a little tight? Maybe you feel like you're a little bit hungry. Like what's going on there? Notice what's that like. Notice your breathing as well too. I invite you to take a deep breath. Right now, my body would probably say like I'm a little bit tense. When I started going to the gym, so I'm sore as what, but also it's just like maybe sometimes I don't even realize how tense my body could be, how upright my shoulders could be. So maybe like take that time to adjust, and that can make so much of a difference as well too. So let's talk about stress versus trauma, right? So stress is this is hard, but I can get through it. So this could look like current demands. Maybe there's a lot of stuff going on with school. There's a lot of stuff going on at work. Maybe there's some life pressure going on, expecting you to show up to do something. And what it looks like is your body is reacting. It's like, oh my God, like you really stressing me out right now. But then you come back to baseline. You're like, all right, let me go have my lunch and we good. And this needs like rest, this needs support, and this needs coping skills to help you reset. Trauma, on the other hand, this looks like ongoing stress. So my body still feels like I'm not safe, even if I am. So your body is staying in protection mode even after the stress is over. So the result the thing that is stressing you, it is being resolved. Like maybe you had the conversation, maybe you dealt with it, maybe you're addressing that this is an issue. But even after the exam is over, even after the situation is over, even after like life stressors is over, you still feel like you're in protection mode. And this could feel like overthinking, maybe wondering what's next, shutting down, or always being on edge. And it makes it harder for you to relax even when things are fine. So a question I have is like, what helps you tell when it's just stress versus when your body is still stuck in survival mode? For me, like I said, when I'm stressed, I get a little bit tired. Maybe I start to like get overwhelmed. Maybe I always feel like my heart is beating a little bit faster. But when my body is stuck in survival mode, I am thinking about the same issue over and over and over and over again. I could be doing a million and one things. I'm still thinking about that situation. And that makes it like really hard for me to function. Like I literally wrap my life around that thing that is stressing me, and even if it's over, I'm still thinking about it. So like that could tell me that is something still living in there rent free, and we got to figure out how to take it out. So I wanted to like highlight spot like a book. Fun fact, my professor actually worked on the book with the person who made this, so shout out to her. But this book is called The Body Keeps the Score. It's a very popular book on how the brain, mind, and body plays a role in the healing of trauma. Definitely 10 out of 10. Not gonna lie, it's still on the book list. I read a couple excerpts, haven't finished it, but I know it's a great read. Um, and the key takeaway is how experiences can affect the body, emotions, relationships, and stress, but healing and regulation are possible. So, what do you think about the phrase, the body keeps the score? Like, think about it. Every stressor, everything that continues to live in the body that is not dealt with, it adds to you. It adds a pound. It adds fatigue. It adds stress. It adds health issues. It adds all these things. And we're going to talk about that. So, anxiety, stress in relationships. When anxiety or stress is high, it could show up in relationships like this. So, you start to overthink what people say or do. Like, now you don't trust people. Maybe you feel like you need constant reassurance, like that constant validation. Maybe you're pulling away, you're avoiding texts or calls. You find yourself getting irritated or reacting quickly. You find yourself over explaining or over giving, difficulty trusting even safe people. And what happens in your relationships when you feel overwhelmed? Like for me, when I'm overwhelmed now, before I feel like I didn't really have that many boundaries. But now when I feel overwhelmed, I tell my friends I need a break, or I tell them I'll do something. Matter of fact, I had personally went on my iPhone like messages when you can text people, and I have three responses. Hold on, I will call you later. Sorry, can't talk right now. Can you just text me? Or is everything okay? Is it urgent? If not, I'll talk to you later. Because I don't want people coming on my phone stressing me. And if you're a relationship that like values my peace of mind, you'll understand because a girl got a lot of responsibilities. But when stress stays too long, this can impact your physical health. And this is what we're talking about. We're not talking about how stress could just like make you overthinking stuff. It can actually affect your health. Long-term stress has been linked to cardiovascular conditions, so high blood pressure, heart disease. This also leads to mental health concerns, depression, anxiety, burnout, immune system disorders. So, like increased inflammation, bloating actually is a response to stress, digestive concern. So, IBS, stomach pain, nausea, appetite changes, sleep difficulties, chronic fatigue, and low energy. All these things, a lot of health conditions, when you look at the root of it, it starts from a prolonged stress. So, if you care about your health, deal with the stress. So, with that closing, this is to let you know that your body isn't working against you. Like, yes, you may feel bloated. Yeah, you may feel tired. Yeah, you may feel tense. But this is not your body working against you. This is it trying to protect you. It's signaling you to let you know that, hey, what is going on here? And even stress responses usually start as survival. But awareness helps you respond instead of just react. So we're not just noticing our body, but we're noticing what we need for our body. So my exit question for you today is, what's one thing you're taking with you today? So I feel like for me, one thing I'm taking with me today is, how can I get my body back to safety? Because that is where the healing is. You know what your body needs at the end of the day. You know what you need to do, what works for you. And then also give yourself some grace. Like healing, like we said, doesn't happen in one big moment. It is a daily care. It is an intentional moment. It's the small changes and it will get better. So with that being said, I just want to thank you all. I just want to invite you to like remind yourselves, take care of yourselves, notice your body, notice what your body needs. Maybe not just like what it's craving to just distract itself, but what would actual real healing mean for your body, and taking small steps to get there. So these are just the feedback surveys, the QR codes if you'd like to scan to just leave us some feedback as well. And then also, if you want to follow us on our social medias, here is our QR codes here to follow us on Instagram, or email us if you have any other feedback as well.
Hey, thank you, Jen. That was a great presentation. I'm sure that we all learned a lot, a few tips and tricks that we can do to help ourselves just remain a little bit stress free. I want to thank everyone for joining us. NJ4S Union will be here and around. You can find this information also on our YouTube page, prevention links. And good night, everyone.